Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Miss Klahar. First of all, are you
Evening,
hearing me?
Miss. Good evening, Miss.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Hi, hi, hi. Yes, good evening, good evening. My name is Miss Klahar, and I am the Health and Family Life Education teacher here at Kingston High School. So I just want to welcome you all to another Parents Month celebration. Old time same thing come back again. As you know, November is celebrated as Parents Month, and this year's theme is positive parenting impacting generations. Parents, we know that you're doing a superb job in this difficult and trying time. And for that, we salute you. Big up, enough big up all the time. All right. This evening, it promises to be an exciting one. We have a guest speaker, and it's no other than Craig McNally. Craig McNally is no stranger to our Gainstead family. Mr. McNally is a counseling psychologist and is also the head of UTEC counseling department, and he has a PhD, or he is a PhD candidate. But before we get to Mr. McNally, as you know, we can't do anything without inviting the presence of the Lord. So I'm asking if you could just say a word in prayer before
Good
we
night.
get into it. Hi, good night. Father, we come before your throne. We give you thanks for life. We give you thanks for the parents, for the guardians, for all the well-wishers who are here with us this evening. Father, we ask that you bless everything that will be said and that will be done. We're asking that you let love, and transparency be our guide. Bless this meeting, we pray. Amen. So parents, again, welcome for a celebration. I just want you to sit back, to relax, and enjoy this evening's experience. All right, I now hand over to Mr. McNally.
Awesome. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. What's going on? Please make me a co-host. Happy Parents Month. This is actually the last of it. This is 30th days of September, April, June, and November, all the time. Right. This is the last day of November. This is the last day of Parents Month. And so we are so excited to be able to, celebrate the parents, because without the parents, there are no students. I'm going to pause for a moment, just so that I can be made the co-host. And Ms. Klahar, I'm going to ask you to mute your microphone, please. Thank you. And could you make me a co-host, please?
Could you just tell me your name, please, so I could make you co-host? It's not Ms. Bahar who's operating.
Craig McNally.
Craig McNally. Okay, will do.
That's funny. That's really funny. All right. There we go. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So welcome. Happy Parent Month. I hope you've had a good parent month. It's very hard being a parent these days. COVID has made being a parent even harder. But I love this theme that is being used this evening. All time sinting, come back again. I love it. And I hope that what I have prepared to share with you will really resonate with you, because when I heard the theme, it really resonated with me, and I thought, wow, that's a really nice theme. And I really love the poster that was designed, around the theme as well. So all time sinting, come back again. I was trying to remember if there was a song that goes something like that. I'm trying to I almost feel like it's what was the name of this man? Admiral Bailey. I feel like Admiral Bailey had a song that went something like that. All time sinting, come back again. But for some reason it not really like me can't think of the song, like how the song go. But anyway. All right. So really glad to be here with you this evening. And to kind of get us kicked off, started, I wanted to kind of share some commercials I found on YouTube that I really just loved. They reminded me, they took me back to when I was like a child, even a teenager, right? So I'm going to share those ads with you, and then you can tell me if you remember any of these ads, and what comes to mind when you hear these ads. All right, or rather when you watch these ads. So here we go.
Everybody needs cheese every day. Cheese, hear me now. Cheese is a thing I man eat every day in a combination, not different way.
Me too. Me love it with the crackers and bun.
And at the bulla and cheese, it nice can done.
Bread and cheese is just a perfect meal. If you want to know the truth, cheese is the best deal.
No massive and true, don't feel no way.
Cheese good for you.
You should have it every day. Everybody needs cheese every day.
All right, here's another one.
Your favorite star.
Great tomato
Ketchup, pour on Grace tomato hot dog ketchup.
Great tomato hamburger ketchup. That's a lot of ketchup in one.
We're done.
Some traditions never die. Benjamin's colorings and flavorings. A little goes a long way. but you still haven't tried all it has to offer. Turn an all-time old favorite into a new favorite. The possibilities are endless. Benjamin's Vanilla, Benjamin's Flavorings and Colorings. Benjamin's, a trusted name for over a century.
It's Court's 33rd birthday celebration. Come join the fun and see what's in store for you. We have the lowest prices and widest selection of furniture and appliances anywhere. No deposit in furniture, bedding, or carpeting. You could win $100,000, a car, plus a house from the Court's accumulator. Free gifts with every purchase of $1,000. Win an extra free gift or 10, 20, 50, even 100% off your purchase in the Court's Lucky Day. So go on down to Court's today. What are you waiting for? Birthdays come only once a year.
Quintet is my number one. So pour it out and mix it up. Then pour it out and drink it up. With my thirst, I'll drink it up. Hey, Quintet is my number one. There's raspberry and strawberry, pineapple, cherry, and orange juice, and many more. Quintet thirst. Hey, Quintet is my number one. Let's drink it up.
All right. I'm not sharing anymore. I'm not sharing any more video. Do you remember those ads? I see Jacqueline in the chat saying that she remembered the words. Yes, big man. Yeah, man. There were actually a couple of them that I was actually singing to, like the Quenchade one. And I actually remember as a child trying to remember the order in which the hold on, let me just let in these people. Right. I remember as a child trying to remember the order in which the flavors for the Quenchade ad was coming out. And I remember being in prep school. I think I was in grade 6 in prep school when the cheese one with Oliver Samuels and Anne-Marie Fuller came out, and that was my favorite ad about the cheese. You know, it just had a nice rhythm to it and thing. And there was another commercial which I didn't show, and I don't even know if it's in the lineup, but there's this one about the cow. Surge Island Dairy is Jamaica's best milk and ice cream. Soft drinks too, sipping to soft bag juice, make the 4 great flavors. All the time. Something like that. And the end of it was
Island
delicious. And or something is so nutritious. Island Dairies is Jamaica's best. North, south, east, and west. Island Dairies is Jamaica's best. Yeah, man. And there was another one. There was another dairy one, but it had to do with some cows. We are lucky cows because we eat turtles. Yes.
Eating of oil. Greens. Butter tastes supreme.
Anchor from green grass. Butter from green grass. Something from green grass. Yeah, I remember how it ends. Right, but you know, those are some really classic commercials, you know, some really all-time commercials. But let me tell you, them not make commercials like so again. No, them don't make them like that again. And you know, I really started off with those commercials because I wanted to, you know, just get us in the vibe of reminiscing, you know, of thinking about, you know, the old times and what hopefully was the good old days. I see somebody talking about the Sudsil. Yes, you remember the Sudsil commercial with the scientist man. I never remember his name. But him, yeah, man, Yeah, man. I remember, and I remember how the Sudsil box did look. It was I think a yellow and black and white kind of look like curve, like curves was on it. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it, man. Yeah, man. And the Grace ketchup and the corned beef one. Yeah, man. Love them all. Love them all. So we're gonna come back to the old time same thing, but I want to kind of move ahead, and I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about parenting styles. And you're going to see afterwards why I jumped from the old time commercials to looking at parenting styles. And maybe you've been in tons of parenting workshops before where they've talked about parenting styles. But if you have not, today, you were today years old when you learned that there are four parenting styles, all right? And the four parenting styles are authoritarian, authoritative, uninvolved parenting, and then there is also permissive parenting, all right? And let's just see on the surface what this says about these parenting styles. So the authoritarian parent focuses on obedience and punishment over discipline. Excuse me, the authoritative parent focuses on creating positive relationships while enforcing the rules. The permissive parent does not enforce rules and just say kids will be kids, right? Then there's the uninvolved parent, and the uninvolved parent provides very little guidance, very little nurturing, and very little attention. Have you identified your parenting style? Have you looked at this and said, okay, that sounds like me. That sounds like me. That sounds like me. If you are an uninvolved parent, I'm going to guess that there are no uninvolved parents here, because uninvolved parents don't come to things like these. Them not have the time, them not really business about them something here. As the name suggests, they are very uninvolved. All right. So we're going to move on. So we're going to look, but a little closer though, at the authoritarian parents. So in this style of parenting, children are expected to follow the strict rules that you as the parent lays out, right? They have, and failure to follow the rules will result in punishment. Can you imagine that, right? Failure to follow the rules, you are going to be punished. One lick, right? Uh-oh, technology. Okay, here we go. Right, so failure to follow the rules is going to result in punishment. And authoritarian parents don't actually explain the reason behind why they came up with these rules or why they're asking the child to do certain things. No, they don't feel that they need to provide any explanation. As far as them concerned, then is them named parents, and whatever they say must go. And if the child asks for an explanation, well, they're just told, become assessor. Why have a problem with that? Become assessor, right? So that is the authoritarian parent, all right? That's the authoritarian parent. We're going to move now to look at the other one, which is the authoritative parent. But before we get there, I have a video which is kind of going to demonstrate the authoritarian parent.
Mommy, where must I put this? Oh, good question, sweetheart. Just put it in the cupboard underneath the bathroom sink for me. Come put it on my head. No, I know that if you do. Box me with it. Shove it down my throat. Take it and lick me across my back. Yeah, man.
And that is, of course, I have Julie Mango. She is a TikToker, YouTuber, and she does these really hilarious videos. And we're going to be actually seeing a couple of them throughout the presentation this evening. Now, the first parent that she demonstrated, that's not the authoritarian parent, okay? But the second one, you see how she talked to the little girl? You see how harsh she was? Let me show you again.
Mommy, where must I put this? Aw, good question, sweetheart. Just put it in the cupboard underneath the bathroom sink for me. Come put it on my head. No, I know that if you do. Box me with it. Shove it down my throat. Take it and lick me across my back. Yeah, man.
I mean, a simple question, right? The child just needed guidance, but no, the authoritarian parents doesn't really can be really unfeeling and insensitive and just very brash and not nice. All right, let's look now at the authoritative parenting style. Now, this parenting style, these parents actually establish rules and guidelines, and that's good because the fact is that children need rules and children need guidelines, right? And the children are expected to follow the rules and the guidelines, but these parents tend to be democratic, right? These parents are responsive to their children. They are willing to listen to questions, right? And these parents actually expect a lot from their children, but they provide warmth, they give, positive feedback, they give a lot of support, right? I'm wondering if this sounds like you. Is this who you are? Are you the authoritative parents, right? And when their child fails to meet an expectation, these parents are more nurturing and they are forgiving rather than punishing, right? There are some parents who are just, boy, me no know how them come so. No little empathy, no little compassion, no little nothing. Them this hagging so, right? But I know that is none. That is none of these parents who are in this forum, right? I'm sure if I were to ask all of you right now, you would say that you are this type of parent, that you are the authoritative kind of parent. I think I have a video that kind of demonstrates this.
When other moms
Okay,
help with
sweetheart,
homework.
let's try your 5 times table. 5 1 5 7 8 9. Oh no, honey, it's 5 times 2 equals 10. Oh! I don't want to do this anymore. You're ugly. You tried your little heart out. Would you like a treat?
When Jamaican moms help with homework.
Mommy, I don't understand. What you said to me? It hard, mommy. So everybody else in the class understand how you dunce. Make I go for the belt. No, mommy. Me never send you go to school if you got turn to Fenke, you know. Sister Johnson daughter know her 5 times. That 2 good lick you want. Say it 5 times. No, mommy. 5 1 5, 5 2 is 10, 5 3 is 15, 5 4 is 20, 5 5 is 25, 5 6 30, 5.
Hey, it's a long time I haven't heard that expression, heard rather that word. What? Tufeng pay. I have not heard that in a really long time, like years I have not heard that. So in this video, of course, the first parent is the authoritative parent, right? They're encouraging, they use encouraging words, they really just try to be there for the child. Even if the child gets frustrated, they don't get frustrated with the child, right? They act like the adult and they are responsible, unlike the second mother that you saw, who tries to fix the situation with licks. No, that's not that's actually more like the authoritarian type of parent.
When other moms
all right
help with homework.
So All right, so let's move to the next one. And the next one is permissive, the permissive parent. Now, this parent sometimes is referred to as the indulgent parent, makes very few demands of their children. These parents rarely discipline their children because they have, relatively low expectations of maturity and self-control, right? Permissive parents are generally nurturing and communicative with their children, often taking on the status of a friend more than being that of a parent. And here's the next thing. They are non-traditional, they are lenient, and they do not require mature behavior. They allow considerable self-regulation and avoid confrontation. I'm not too sure about this. I'm not too sure about this. But I'm wondering if there are any permissive parents in here. Any permissive parents? I don't know. I wonder if I have a video for this one. Let me check if I have a video for this one. Okay, the Zoom thing is kind of messing up my presentation whenever somebody new joins in. So I do apologize. That's why I keep having to go from the beginning. It's throwing off the app. All right, so sorry about that. But don't worry, I'll skip through. All right, so we looked at permissive. Oh, okay, well, I don't have a video for that one. But here's the fourth one, uninvolved parent. Now, I don't think that there are any uninvolved parents here this evening because you would be here if you were an uninvolved parent. Well, no. That's not actually true. You would be here, but maybe if somebody threatened you or tell you, see, you better come, or somebody really encouraged you and said, come on, and so, or you're really trying to make a good impression, right? You would be here if you're an uninvolved parent. So here are the traits of the uninvolved parents. Now, these parents fulfill the child's basic needs, right? And they're generally they're generally detached from their child's life. They might make sure that their kid is fed, have shelter, but they offer little to nothing by way of guidance or structure or rules or even support. Sounds like your child's father? Just saying. The truth is that many fathers tend to be more like this, okay? Uninvolved. An uninvolved parenting style is characterized by few demands, low responsiveness, and very little communication. And finally, in extreme cases, these parents may even reject or neglect the needs of their children. Can you imagine, right? Does this sound like your child's other parent? Because certainly not you. No, but maybe the other parent, their mom or their father. All right. Now I'm going to show you a video of an uninvolved parent. And this is done by one of my favorite actors, Denzel Washington.
Can I ask you a question?
The hell you got to ask me? Mr. Stewicki, the one you got the questions for.
How come you ain't never liked me?
Like you? Who the hell said I got to like you? What law is there say I got to like you? Want to stand up in front of my face and ask a damn fool-ass question like that? Talking about liking somebody. Come here, boy, when I talk to you. Straighten up, goddammit. I asked you a question. What law is there say I got to like you?
None.
All right, then. Don't you eat every day? Answer me when I talk to you. Don't you eat every day?
Yeah.
Nigga, as long as you in my house, you put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me.
Yes, sir.
You eat every day.
Yes, sir.
Got a roof over your head.
Yes, sir.
Got clothes on your back.
Yes, sir.
Why you think that is?
Because of you.
Hell, I know it's because of me. But why do you think that is?
Because you like me?
Like you. I go out of here every morning. I bust my butt putting up with them crackers every day because I like you. You're about the biggest fool I ever saw. It's my job. It's my responsibility. A man is supposed to take care of his family. You live in my house, fill your belly with my food, put your behind on my bed because you're my son. Because I like you, because it's my duty to take care of you. I owe a responsibility to you. Now, let's get this straight right here and now before I go along any further. I ain't got to like you. Mr. Rand don't give me my money come payday because he like me. He give it to me because he owe me. Now, I don't give you everything I got to give you. I give you your life. Me and your mama worked that out between us, and liking your black ass wasn't part of the bargain. Now, don't you go through life worrying about whether somebody like you or not. You best be making sure they're doing right by you. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Then get the hell out of my face and get on down to that A&P.
this this scene has just some really powerful moments in it. Really has some powerful lessons in it. The fact is that he's uninvolved, and I can't really go into all of the backstory, but it's essentially this is from a movie called The Fence. No, actually, it's a play called the Fence, and they turn it into a movie. And essentially, this guy, this character, this man that you just saw, he's more concerned about putting up a fence around his property than he is around really getting involved in his son's life. His son plays baseball, but he's not so much interested in that. He's more interested in putting up the fence. And so, while he does meet all the basic needs that he is required to, and that he has a responsibility to meet, otherwise than that, him not really know nothing about his son, and he doesn't put any effort into connecting with his son. And there are lots of parents who wouldn't consider themselves an uninvolved parent, because as far as they're concerned, they are doing everything that is required of them. But no, that is not enough. Just as an aside, he says, look, I don't have to like you in order to do these things. I'm just doing these things because I'm required to do them. And, we could kind of flip that to say that to acknowledge that there are some parents who don't help out the children that they and another adult have come together to produce. They don't help out the child because they don't like the other parent, right? Or they say all kinds of things about the other parent. No, we don't want to get into those kinds of conversations and those kinds of behaviors. We don't want the child to suffer because you think that their father is a workless whatever. No, we don't want to get into that. Or we don't want to not help the child because we think that their mother is a what's it. No, we don't want to go there. Okay, we don't want to go there. So now that I've talked to you about the 4 parenting styles, and hopefully you have identified your parenting style, I want to just indicate we're kind of jumping back now onto the theme of old time sing-ting. Come back again, and I showed you the commercial to get us all nostalgic. But I want to say that parents use experienced parenting styles and they retell stories. What I mean by that is your parenting style was very possibly informed by how you were parented and by the stories that you were told as a child. In other words, the old-time sing-ting, the ways, the things of the past, the ways of the past that you were parented, the stories that you were told have an influence on the modern, on the contemporary, on the here and now. They impact how you now parent. Here is Julie Mango again. She has some examples.
This is the biggest lie told by every Jamaican parent.
You see, when me was going to school, me always come first in my class. First. Every year me come first in my class. It's only one time me no come first, and that time me come second. And the only reason why me did come second that one time are because the boy Richard Kelly when bite off me ears down on the playing ground right after the test and me did in a pain. And when me go tell teacher Margaret about it now, teacher Margaret said to me say, "Oh, I don't think you're telling the truth, because nothing don't look wrong with your hairs." And because me did vex now, that's why me never do good pan the test. But apart from that, me come first every year in my class. First, every year. Oh.
All right. How about this one?
Every Jamaican parent's motivational speech.
You see, when me was your age, 14, me have my house already. And me have to get up 1 o'clock every morning and water the cow them. And me have to tie out the goat them. Then me have to feed the hog them and clean out the fowl coop. After that, me have to go down a mango walk. And I know 2 o'clock yet. And care up the mango them kongi dada. When me care up the mango them kongi dada now, me have to get ready to go to school. Barefoot. And me send my little brother go to school. Me get scholarship. And me work and send my little brother go to school. Then now by the time Miss Dandy fi give me little breakfast, fi catch up me to work, me fi left out her house. I walk 15 miles, go school, without no breakfast.
No, I've actually heard those stories, from my mother, but never know. But I've certainly heard these stories before. Parents always talking about, when they were children, what they used to do and how they used to have to walk and all kind of story. I don't know if I buy these stories, if they were really true or not. But the fact is that a lot of these stories and narratives that we are told and the ways in which we were parented in the old time days, right? And when I say old time days, we're not talking about in the 1950s or 40s and all of that. I'm just talking about old time days when you were a child, all right? When you were being parented. A lot of those things influence how we now today parent our own children. What is something that your parents did that you have continued? And you can put them in the chat, or if you'd like to, open your microphone and maybe use the raise hand feature, and I will indicate and you can share. I'd really love to hear from you. What are some of the things that your parents did that you have not continued with your child? Sorry, that you have continued with your child. Anyone?
Good night.
Hi, good night.
All right, so I had to go to church. I did not know that there was not an option for not going to church. So that I have continued with my children. They have to go to church on every week.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So you're not like one of these parents who are very modern and say, "Oh no, they have a choice. They must decide for themselves what they want." No, you're not into that. You have continued.
No, not. Yes, I did.
All right.
When
Okay.
church, they had to go to church.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Even when I wasn't a part of the church, they had to go to church.
Okay, right. So you mean like you stay home, but they have to go. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. I see Ava says education is a priority. Jacqueline says Saturday morning devotion. Okay, I've never heard that one actually. Patsy says Sunday school and go to bed early at night. Okay, I wonder what time is early. What time is early, Patsy? Like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock? What time is early? 8 o'clock. Then you go to your bed 8 o'clock at night time, Patsy. What is this? Okay, all right. Okay, so you have continued that. All right. Thank you very much for sharing these. All right, here's the other question I want to ask you now. What is something that your parents did that you have not continued with your own children? So, what is something that you had to do because your parents insisted on it, but you have laxed in that regard? You have not demanded or insisted that your children continue with those things. Or I could say it another way. What is some all-time sin thing where your parents used to make you have to do, or that them used to do, where you dash away? In keeping with our theme. Okay, so Ava says, hide things. My grandmother, oh, so your grandmother used to hide up the something them. Okay. Um, Jenny says the shining of the floor. Yes, I actually remember my mother used to have a polisher, a floor polisher, and she had it for years. I never know when she dash it away. Yeah, man, she had it for years. And every Saturday, the floor used to have to clean with this polisher. It had these two brush things at the side, and they go, and they would turn. And when you come so, it would stop. And then you'd have to press something. And when you lean it back, that's when it would start up. I used to love it. I used to find it amazing. And then I used to turn it on. I used to love turn it on and watch it on the floor. It would dance around the floor. I used to love it. All right. So okay, so have I saying you mean the coconut brush? Jenny says she had to be on her knees shining the floor. Oh no. Poor thing. Michelle says, oh, so Michelle allows her daughter. Sorry, I don't know why I assumed. Yes, daughter, her, right. Michelle allows her daughter to choose what she wants to eat. But she lucky and privileged. Zamani says, what polisher? I had to polish I had coconut brush. I had to use coconut brush on my knees. And Zandre says, I think that should be chores, do chores. Janet says, greater coconut. Okay, greater coconut. You know what I used to find amazing? My mother actually had a blender, right? But even though she had a blender, she would still cut up the coconut like fine. And I never used to understand why. That just never made any sense to me. All right. Dika, I hope I pronounced that right. Dika says, speak freely and express herself. Okay, so you couldn't speak freely and express yourself. You probably would I get a backhand. Right. So there are lots of things, folks, that we as adults we probably we probably would we've discontinued some things, and I don't know why. Maybe we've discontinued them because of how they affected us as children. Maybe we've discontinued them because we found them tedious and taxing and unkind. Zandre adds in do chores like wash the dishes, polish shoes, and so on, right? And Kayla says blend coconut every Sunday. Right. So and then there are probably some things that we still hold on to, and that we still inform our parenting, because perhaps we thought they were worthwhile, or we thought they heavily influenced who we are today, and so, we have continued those things. Now, here are some points that I'd like to share with you. In single female-headed homes, mothers often feel that authoritarian parenting is the next best thing to having a man in the house. So there isn't the child's father is not in the house, nor is there another man in the house, and particularly when we're talking about raising boys. And there are a lot of mothers or aunts, or basically the matriarchal figure in the home, feels that they need to be militant and need to be this authoritarian figure. Now, that does have its benefits. I'm not saying it doesn't, but sometimes being like that is problematic. The fact is, a woman can try to instruct and be like a father, to her son and her daughter, to her children. But the fact is, only a man can father. I'm not saying that they're not parents who are that they're not mothers who try to be both mother and father, but the fact is that they're just certain. Only a man can father, and that man doesn't necessarily have to be the child's biological father, right? Right, and I'm not talking about the jacket neither. And that may mean when we say it doesn't have to be his biological father, all right, or or the one who you give to. And the same thing applies. A father cannot mother, right? There is just so much that they can do and no more. But this is very common, where single female-headed homes, the mothers tend to be authoritarian, because, in their effort to do the best that they can, especially to raise boys. Number two, fathers um, in particular actually believe that might is right, right? So there are some fathers who can be so unfeeling. There's no compassion. You see, like that dad in the video that I showed you earlier, kind of like that, right? Them just rough, and they're like bullies in the house rather than fathers. There's no compassion, there is no kindness. All right. And number three kind of ties in with that, because some fathers actually, and I'm talking about literally, they do not know how to be compassionate, and they don't know how to be kind, and they don't know how to be relaxed. And a lot of that too has to do with how they were fathered or the lack thereof. Like, I remember when, with my father, I mean, he wasn't the best dad, growing up. And it was, I think it was when I was doing my first degree and I was doing a psychology course, and there was a requirement, there was an assignment. We had to do what's called a genogram. And a genogram essentially is when you go through a family tree. Basically, it's creating a family tree. All right. So you look at who their parents were and who their parents were, and you had your aunts and uncles and how many children they had, and so on and so forth, right? And I remember the morning before heading out to work. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. We call the father matriarchal. Really? It's not the mother who is matriarchal. Alexa, what is matriarchal? Seriously? Okay. All right. Well, thanks for that. Okay, cool. All right. Right. So the point I'm making is it was the morning, I called him and I said, because, I needed some information. I wasn't sure of all the information. And this is me as an adult, right? And I, 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 and I asked him and I said, who is, I said, I know your mother, but what was the name of your father? And that's when I learned that my father was adopted. That's when I found out that he was adopted. And that made a lot of sense to me. It's like it's like dots started to connect. And I'm like, oh, that's why you stay so. That's why you're not a good father. I'm just being honest with you, right? That's what I thought. That's what I absolutely thought. That's what I believed. And it all just came together for me. Now, am I saying that parents who are adopted don't make good parents? No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying that in my case, in my instant, it kind of made sense for me. And then he had to leave country when he was very young and come to town to work, and there wasn't much family support. And it all just made a lot of sense to me, And if you look back at how you were parented, you can probably see that there are some ways. Boy, let me tell you something. There's this guy named Freud, right? Sigmund Freud. He's a psychologist. And he actually says that parents are the one that our parents messed us up. And I'm sure that for many of us, that is true, where our parents did some things to us that were just like, if it was nowadays, they would have gone to prison a long time, or they would be considered, uh, unfit to be a parent. You know what I mean? So, it is, we really have to look back and see what were some of those things, and some of those parenting styles, and things that were done to us really screwed with our brain, messed us up, and a lot of us are dealing with a lot of these things, and they are trauma for us. They were traumatic, and instead of us, for some of us, we haven't recognized it. And for others of us, we haven't done anything to resolve the issues, and we pass them down, and we stay same way to our kids. We hugging nearing, and we have some dirty sit down about we, and and when people ask us about why we behave in those ways and so on, we tell them, say, well, that's how we stay. No, I'm not how you stay. You have issues, and you need to go deal with your issues straight. Anyway, sorry, it's just upsetting. All right, and then number 4, right, exactly. So number 4 ties in, right? So there are some parents who are raising children exactly the way how they were raised, and it can be good, but it can also be bad. Okay, it can be negative and it can be positive. And of course, the negative ways I'm saying are some ways that you're just messing up your child. And there are some positive ways too, like, for example, if you are just the uninvolved parent because, maybe your parents were uninvolved, and you repeat the cycle. So instead of breaking the cycle, or what some people would call the generational curse, instead of breaking it, you perpetuate it and carry on with the same foolishness. But sometimes, the truth is, we can't really blame you for why you're such a crappy parent. The fact is that you have a lot of unresolved things dealing with, and you don't know, you want to do better, but you just don't know how to step out tight. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let me see with you. Number 5, some parents who raise their children the complete opposite of how they were raised. So if your parents, for example, used to boof you for every little thing and and talk badly and talk poorly to you, you have not repeated those ways, which is good. And then finally, parents raise the children after so you've had a child, right? So let's say you have 2 children or 3 children, and you saw how you raised the child, the first child. You then say, all right, I see where I made some mistakes with this first child. So I'm going to make sure that I don't make those mistakes, in air quotes, with this other child. But listen, let me say to you, I say this to parents all the time. You did the best, and I'm talking about like parents who come in for help, all right? Like parents who come for counseling or whatever. I say to them, you did the best you could with the knowledge and with the resources that you had. You did the best you could with what knowledge you had and with what resources you had. And there's some parents in here who need to hear that, because the truth is that someone want to beat upon on yourself so much. You're so hard on yourself. You are so hard on yourself, and you need to cut yourself a break, because the truth is that you are doing the best that you possibly can, and nobody can take that away from you. And yes, there might have been some things that you should have done differently in hindsight. Looking back now, maybe you shouldn't have reacted the way you did. But guess what? You know better now, right? You did the best with what you knew and with what resources you had. And so I just want to cut you some slack. I just want to tell you that it's cool, relax. You did the best you could, and you're doing the best you can. And if you realize that there are some things that you should have done differently, hey, tomorrow is a new day. Turn it around and do the best that you can right now with the knowledge that you now have and with the resources that you now have. So old time sinting does come back again. Sometimes it's a song that we hear and we go, back foot, yo, remember that song? And no, you don't love me. Oh, I rent a tile. Yeah. Right? Sometimes it's a movie you watch and you have these flashbacks and you remember some of the things that were done to you. But sometimes it's the way you were parented that comes back again. And some of them all time sinting there, yeah man, you have to bring them back. But there are others of them for dash way. Burn up that. Thank you so much for your attention this evening, and I hope that something I shared with you resonated. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. McNally. Very, very good presentation. Parents, I totally agree. There are times when we're not always right in terms of how we react to our children, our child, or even the things that we would say to them sometimes. I know from time to time we may feel very stressed and frustrated dealing with our own issues, but the children are so innocent to our stress at times, They're not the reason why we're stressed, and if it's because of them, we need to try to have some self-control in terms of thinking. Think before we act, or think before we say. There were some parents that were writing in the chat, and one really stood out, and that's Dika Russell. When the mother said, I allow my child to express herself and to speak freely. Parents, that's one of the most important things for your child, right? Gone are the days, and I've heard it with my mom too when I was young. children must be seen and not heard. That is ridiculous, because when a child keep their feelings in and they can't say how they feel, granted, as long as they express themselves in a respectful manner, right? Because they can say the right thing and it come across the wrong way and you get upset, which I can totally understand. But gone are those days when children not just seen and not heard. A child should be allowed to express him or herself, right? A child have the right to say, all right, mommy, I'm feeling tired today. I get up, I don't feel like going to church. Find out why, what is happening with the child, rather than push and be a bully. Yes, you have to do it today. Listen to your children. It's very, very important. And it's important for us too to do some introspection based on what the presenter, Mr. McNally, said, right? Because sometimes too, we do things and we don't even realize that that is how we are growing our children, because of the negative things that we have been through, you know? So sometimes too, you need someone to point it out, because oftentimes we don't see our faults, you know? And sometimes your child might see the fault and your child might say, mommy, this is happening, that is happening. And you think the child is rude. And it's not really being rude, but the child see what is happening around, something that you may not be seeing, right? And just like Mr. McNally said, tomorrow is a new day. So if you think that's something you should have done, don't be hard on yourself. You can start fresh tomorrow. There are times, for example, we're all humans, we're not perfect, right? There are times when I might just snap at my child because I had a long day and I'm so tired. You get home, they bombard you, they start with all the complaints, mommy, I'm hungry, this, that, and whatever. And if I realize I snap at them, don't think that we're too big as parents to go back and apologize and say to your child that, I'm sorry, that's not how I should have reacted. I've done it before. And I'm not afraid to tell my children, mommy was wrong, that's not the way I should deal with it. But I had a really bad day and, you know, I was just really, really tired and frustrated. You know? So it's important to apologize to your children at times if you think you snapped or you dealt with a situation inappropriately. So again, thank you, Mr. McNally, and parents, please don't be hard on yourself. You can always start over. And I'm going to ask you to practice one thing, and it's to think before you speak and think before you act, right? I have children at school who will confide and tell me, and they're so depressed because of the things that parents say to them. Sorry, I have you. When I'm pregnant with him, I should have dashed you away. I don't know what I have you for. You scar that child for life. And bear in mind that what you say to your child has more effect on whipping the child. Not saying that whipping is right, because I don't support it too, right? But words are very, very harmful and it sticks with that person. And again, when your child grows up, they're going to remember those things and they can resent you for it. All right, so take some time and do some introspection. All right, thank you so much, parents. It was a lovely presentation. Thanks again, Mr. McNally. And thanks to all the fathers who came out.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay.